Hello everybody, that's me Osama Abu Hajar and welcome to the machine learning tutorial. In this video I'll be talking about the data visualization and how we could convert the data into a nice feature in machine learning, which is graphs. So basically, instead of seeing an actual rows and columns in data sets, so like what we see here over here, so just like rows and columns, which is hard to make sense for us, we could read some columns of this data and we could convert it to like pie chart or column chart or like diagrams or whatever that suits us to make an actual visualization of the data. So there's two resources I'm using for this one. I'm using Seaborn resources. So that's one of the libraries where you could import and have the full visualization of the data. So you could go to the tutorial tab, you could refer to any of these different policing or whatever data. Then you could see how you could use the functions that's already pre-built within this library to bring the data out. I am using as well visualization with Seaborn, so one of the tutorials online, so it's gone, yeah, so it's over here, which is good too, where you could see the data actually and how it's printed, and yeah, it could be really useful for you to follow if you would like to see different charts or like diagrams of your data. So it's very complicated tutorials, so you have to give them a careful reading. I have used one of the guys and other tutorials, so I follow one of the tutorials online to get the actual implementation. So this tutorial has been followed to get the actual values. So I was trying to print out to you just for an example and demonstrating. So first of all, I was trying to get like a diagram of the relation between temperature and count. So how many times we played games when temperature was 75. So 175, as we see here, we have 30. So how we got this one? Basically, we import Seaborns as SNS, so we could call it whatever we want to call it, like X, Y, Z. Then since we import the library, we import the other library, which is Matplotlib. LIB. So that's the one I mentioned in the previous videos. Since I have these two libraries has been imported, simply I could go, so let's go and practice on the other file we created already. So we have our data here and we have everything ready. So first of all, we import the two libraries. So since we import the two libraries, the code has been executed and the libraries are ready to use. So first line, we just get the sense, which is the Seaborn library, and we say set the style. So we set the background to white grid, and we say the color code is true. So there is a lot to cover about this. I'm not going to go through each part of them because that would take a lot of time. Then we set the figure size to 9 by 6. So after that, we create a count vault. So the count vault is counting how many times temperature has been played from our data. So, and we remove the margin, so we basically remove the sides or whatever. So let's play without this right now, and let's display the data. So now the data has been taken as we see here. So that's our data. If we add the code to remove the margin, so we just remove the titles and remove the things in the top, and we just print it out in a nice way. So now we see we have a chart. That chart represents us how many times has been games played during this temperature. So we could apply this to different data type or different data columns to see different graphs. So we could see I have applied it for the outlook and the play, so how many times we played when it was overcast. So we played over than 60 times in our dataset. We didn't play 40 times because it was sunny, but we played 30 times, like till 30 each when it was sunny. It's exact same with rainy. So when the weather was rain, we played like 30 each and we played 40 each. So that's kind of visualization as well. We could just give the user or the reader a good understanding of what's going on. At the same time, we could print like different charts over here. You could read them during the tutorial, and you could see I've used locations via temperature. So how many times we played in Newbridge, how many times we played in Dubai, how many times we played in Dublin, Carlo, Leash. So that's locations over count of games. We could use this graph as well, which is temperature via humidity. We could see if the temperature was high as humidity, so we could see the relation between temperature and humidity. So at temperature 70, the humidity was 95, was like we could say here from 70 to 75. So we could say at 73, 72, 1, so was 80. So that just kind of representation is a good representation for the user to understand the data in a picture and icons and graphs style rather than just columns and row as we see over here. So yep, so as I have said, we could refer to the two tutorials over here on the top. They are really useful and I use them, so use them and import like this is the official tutorial, so basically that's the main source to get this data. So next video I'll be talking about how we train our machine learning and how we get the data processed by the algorithm and how we have a new prediction for new data input. Watch me and thank you very much.